A few weeks ago, I got this message on Instagram. Hi Luis, can I ask you for advice on something? For me, intentional living means consciously choosing the things I spend the time and energy on, and that's also related to then working on my goals. But how do you create new goals when you achieve the ones that you had already set without creating goals for the sake of creating goals? And I responded, hey, that's a good one. Can I send you an audio? Sure, I don't see a lot of people talking about topics like this, so I thought, I would ask someone who does. My answer was very simple, and it had a lot to do with the book Hell Yeah or No by Derek Sivers. I'm going to share with you the 7 lessons that I learned from this book, and then after that, I'm going to tell you what I told that person on Instagram. This book is a combination of a lot of small articles that you can actually find online, so we're going to be able to dive into my favorite ones over here. Oh, and don't worry, I'm going to link everything below as well. Lesson number 1, how to predict the future. Okay, so he has this article that says character predicts your future. If there's one lesson that you should learn from this, is that how you do anything is how you do everything. The idea over here is that, look, when you put your mind to do something, the small details matter. And this goes hand in hand with the idea of essentialism, right? When you do something, do it for real, do it with care, do it like you mean it, because you're not going to be able to do everything. So the things that you do, you should do them properly. Lesson number 2, hell yeah or no. If you're not feeling hell yeah, then say no. Okay, so generally, we will default to saying yes to things, right? Like generally most of us are people pleasers. We're scared of confrontation. We try to give our friends the benefit of the doubt. We try to be nice to everybody. When we do that, we also commit our future selves to things that perhaps we don't really want to do. So what if we were to switch it out and default to saying no? You can say politely, you don't have to be rude about it, but what if we were to default to saying no to most things? That way you can truly and seriously think about whether that thing is something you want to engage with. Do you go and say hell yeah? Or are you going and saying, well, I guess? Don't do I guess. Do either no or do hell yeah. And if you want to leave with a quote for this lesson, here's one for you. If you're not feeling hell yeah, that would be awesome about something, then you say no. It's an easier decision, so say no to almost everything. This starts to free your time and mind. Lesson number 3, how to get back up. There's a class that I teach on time management, and when I was scripting the course, the one class that I took the longest to script was how to get back on track. Because it's not that simple. When you lose your interest or when you burn out, how do you get your mojo back? It's not a simple answer. It's not a straightforward process. In the book, he focused on how to get out of a bad state of mind, and I think that this chapter, this little section, complements that class so well. If you're feeling in a bad state of mind, here's a 5-step process that he writes down. Number 1, ask myself what's wrong in this very second. Am I in physical pain or danger? Right? Is this a mental pain? 2, observe now, act later. You know when we have an argument and we keep rolling it in our heads and we realize hours later what would have been a better response? You don't need to act in that specific moment. Think it through. Let the emotions go for a second. Think logically through it, then think emotionally through it. But get out of the moment so you can act later. 3, raise standards. Say no to anything less than great. This is hard, because you're gonna have to say no to your friends. If your friends are not the people that are truly lifting you up, you will have to say no to them in that moment. Do not let anything that's not fantastic in your life at that specific moment. And it's hard, but you have to, because if you are in a bad state of mind, you need to cut off the bad stuff. You need the good stuff next to you. And when you raise your standards, chances are that there's a lot of your time that's gonna go unallocated, meaning you're gonna have more free time. And with this free time that you're gonna get, you're gonna be able to focus on your goal. Why are you doing this? What is your 10-year plan? Why are you doing what you're doing? What's the end goal? What's the idea? What are your values? What are you doing this for? Who are you doing this for? Because otherwise, you're not gonna remember what is the hell yeah or no, because everything's gonna feel attractive. And if everything feels attractive, if everything feels special, then well, nothing is special. And now 5 is pretty fun. It's pretty simple, but pretty hard actually. Do all the necessary stuff. In my time management course, I call this account for the dumb shit, which means you should still plan and do the regular human stuff. Are you taking showers? Are you paying your bills? Are you going to the restroom? Are you brushing your teeth? You need to get those small wins out of the way. You need to keep in motion, because remember, a body in motion will stay in motion. So you want to keep yourself in the zone. The idea is to get you out of that bad state and to get you back on track. That's the goal. Lesson number 4, F your rules. Change your ands to ors. One of the biggest reasons that I have been able to work out consistently and do stuff for so many years, over a decade now, is that I put less pressure on myself. Can I only do 20 minutes of a workout? Okay, we'll roll. Am I only going to work out if I do this and that and brush my teeth and work out and eat? And like, stop giving yourself if statements and conditions, right? If I do this and this and this, then I'll work out. Then I'll be happy. Then I'll be excited. No, change it. If I wake up, I'll work out. If I wake up, or I brush my teeth, or I go to work, it's going to be a good day. My days are always very scheduled out, and they always have a goal. And at the end of the day, I have to remind myself, like, hey, I did accomplish a lot of things that I wanted to accomplish today. That's fine. I might have not accomplished them all, but the ones I did, I should still be excited about the fact that I did accomplish those. Now, lesson number 5, and this one is for my multi-passionate people. If you are one of those people that feel like you have tons of hobbies, right? You want to do it all. Well, guess what? You can do it all. You know that sentence people will say, oh, jack of all trades, master of none? Well, there's a more modern version of it that goes, jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. I did a lot of research. I couldn't find who actually coined this term. It's probably just somebody on the internet, more recent. It's not old, this end. But I love that concept because, look, being a generalist, knowing different things is something that society still values. Can you be super successful being specialized? 100%. That's what people advocate for. That's what economics talk about all the time. But if you are a generalist and you can connect dots from different spots and communicate your resolution to that problem, taking multiple points, well, you're gonna be in good shape. Okay, so this is for my multi-passionate people. He says, look, are you trying to pursue many different directions at once? Are you frustrated that the world wants you to pick one thing because you want to do them all? The problem is thinking short term, assuming that if you don't do all the things now, they won't happen. You don't have to do everything right now. I can focus on YouTube right now. I can focus on reading books like this right now. I can focus on recording this stuff right now. And I can still like work out and be on the background. And 6 months from now, I can focus on my music again. And then I can focus on traveling more again. You can do everything that you want to do. We don't have that many hobbies. Like if you have 20 things that you really love and you focus 1 year to each of them, well, you did them all. If my days end tomorrow, I'll be happy because I know that I'm working towards things that are meaningful to me. Don't confuse patience with complacency. Gary Vee talks about that all the time too. Being patient about the results of something does not mean you're not going to take action towards them. This is for my multi-passionate people. Think long term. Next lesson, lesson number 6, how to do what you love and make good money. I like this one a lot. Look at this sentence right here. Your main obstacle to this amazing life will be self-control. You need good time management to stop addictions like social media and video watching and make your art your main relaxing activity. And then he also talks about you need good mind management to not think about your job after you leave the office. He knows that time management also is related to habits, right? You can't just get good at time management for the sake of getting good at time management. You need to know why you're changing it. So, and when I say why you're changing it, I'm thinking in terms of habits, right? If you have a problem with drinking, you can't just stop drinking. You have to substitute with something else. That's one of the ways that you get better. And if you guys like this topic, one book recommendation would be Atomic Habits. So when you're changing habits, you want to replace things. It's not just a matter of like, oh, I'm gonna stop doing this or I'm gonna start doing that. You can try attaching things. So every time I brush my teeth, I'm also gonna do 10 pull-ups. I don't know, random thought. But like you try to attach good things to good things. In that way, that becomes just a sequence. That it's like a little automation in your brain, because your brain likes routines. Your brain likes to not have to think about everything all the time. So then I wrote a little sentence over here that tries to summarize this. He knows that time management is deeply tied to habits, and just like with creating great habits, you have to replace the bad stuff with the good stuff. It's not just about fostering better habits and time management. Lesson 7. Your goal is for today. I left this one for last because the person that asked me the question in the first place, right at the beginning of the video, I met with that person to talk more about content, and they had some other questions and so on. But this chapter came up in conversation too. And that's why I wanted to kind of end with this before I dive into the final answer I gave the person. But the idea is that, look, you should only set goals if you're willing to work on them now. Because if you just want to work on them tomorrow, you're not changing anything about your life right now about that goal. It's still just the vision. You get the dopamine of, oh, I am going to do this thing. I will do this one day. And that's what he talks about in this chapter. He goes, look, judge a goal by how well it changes your actions in the present moment. A bad goal makes you say, I want to do this someday. A great goal makes you take action immediately. And that's what I was telling that person too. And I was like, look, if you haven't found anything that really makes you say, hell yeah, wait. Because if you're not gonna take action right now, that's just a dream somewhere. It's not a true goal. It's just a dream that you have somewhere. It's this vision. And by the way, it's perfectly fine for you to say, hey, I'm just gonna sit here and just wonder about what my life could be if I were to take a different direction, imagining all the little different things that I could be doing. That's fine. And okay, so what was the answer I gave to that person when they asked me that on Instagram? It was some version of this. It was like, hey, can we agree that if you are working on something, call it A, you are by default, by proxy, not working on things B, C, D, E? And can we also agree that we have limited time on Earth and we don't know exactly how much time we have? So then comes the question, how do we stop setting goals for the sake of setting goals? There's a term in economics called opportunity cost, which just basically means the next best alternative. For example, I'm recording this video right now, which means I'm choosing not to work out right now. In a business sense, if you're focusing on selling books, you're not focusing on selling computers. It's kind of the same idea. You're only working on one thing at a time, realistically, right? You could have multiple projects going on, but you're only focusing on one thing at that one time. This means that you're always saying no to something. So just keep saying no until something really goes like, oh, that's a yes, that's a hell yeah. And when you feel that hell yeah, that's when you set the goal. That's when you go after it. That's when you're like, hey, today my day is gonna change because of this goal, because I'm now working on this goal. This makes sense. I really want this. This is a hell yeah. Because goals are nothing without action. If you're into time management and all the things you can do when you get good at time management, please consider subscribing. I've been working very hard to make these videos resonate with you people and listen to your questions and talk about the content that actually brings you value. So tag along for the ride. Feel free to comment your favorite time management techniques, the stuff you want to see over here. I'm building a community. I want to hear from you guys. I want to get to know you. I want to have this conversation. So take care. I'll see you soon.